In the last lecture, we learned about data modeling and relationship. There, we also talked about two approaches using which we can implement relation between two data entities. We talked about embedded document approach and we also talked about referencing documents. Now, we need to decide which approach we should use for implementing relation between data. When we should use embedded document approach over referencing approach and vice versa. And to decide that, one of the information which we need is what type of relation we have between the data. The relation between two or more data entities can be classified into three types: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. This information is also crucial when deciding what approach we should be using for establishing relation between data. Now in this lecture, we will talk about one-to-one relation between data entities and decide which approach we should choose for implementing one-to-one relation, whether we should go with embedded document approach or we should go with referencing approach. And we are going to understand it with some examples. But before that, first we need to understand what do we mean by one-to-one relation. So in MongoDB, a one-to-one relationship signifies a direct connection between two documents, where one document uniquely identifies another document. For example, let's say we have a customer, and for that customer, we have a primary contact. Now, the primary contact detail is going to store the email and phone number of the user. So every customer is going to have a primary contact, and in that primary contact, the customer is going to provide his email and phone number. And no two customers are going to have the same primary contact. No two customers will have the same email and same phone number as a primary contact. So here, between the customer and the primary contact, we have one-to-one relationship. Each customer is going to have a unique primary contact, and no two or more customers will have the same primary contact. Also, no primary contact will belong to two different customers. So here we have one-to-one relationship. Let's take another example. So here we have a product, and for that product we have media. That means we have product images and product videos. Now for each product, again, we are going to have a unique media. For each product, we are going to have unique images and unique product videos. No two product will have the same product image and product video. Each product will have unique product images and product videos. And we are going to store the product image and product videos in the media document. So here, between the product and the media document, we have one-to-one relationship. Each product is going to have a unique media, and the same media will not belong to two or more products. Here we have a unique relation between the product and the media. Each product is going to have a unique media. No two product is going to have the same media. So here also we have one-to-one relationship. So I hope with these two examples, now you understand what do we mean by one-to-one relationship. In a one-to-one relationship, one document uniquely identifies the another document. And that's what we have here. This product is uniquely identifying the media document. Each product is going to have a unique media. In the same way, each customer is going to have a unique primary contact. Alright, so now we know what is one-to-one relationship. Now, when we want to implement one-to-one relationship between two documents in MongoDB, which approach should we use? Whether we should use embedded document approach or we should use referencing approach. Let's understand it with two examples. So let's first understand when we should choose embedded document approach. Now always remember that whenever you want to implement a relation between two data entities, your first choice should always be embedded document approach. Because when you use embedded document approach, all the data is present in the same collection, and that's why when you want to fetch all the details, you will not have to query multiple collections. You will have to query just a single collection from where you will get all the data. But when choosing embedded document approach, you should also take into consideration some points. So let's see what points we should be looking for when choosing embedded document approach for one-to-one relationship. So again, we are going to take the example of customer and the primary contact. So each customer is going to have a unique primary contact detail. No two customers is going to have the same primary contact. So let's first try to implement this relation between the customer and the primary contact using embedded document approach. And then we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages we will have when we will go with embedded document approach for this example. So here, as you can see, we have three customer documents. Each customer document has a name, age, city, and this primary contact field. In this primary contact field, we are assigning another document, an embedded document. And in that embedded document, we have the phone and email of the customer. So let's see whether we should go with this embedded document approach for this relationship or not, for the relationship between customer and the primary contact. For that, first we are going to check the embedded document data size. So here, this embedded document data size is not going to be much because here we are only storing two fields, phone and email. And these two fields are also storing simple values like number and string. So the size of this embedded document is not going to be too much to affect the overall document size. So in that regard, this embedded document approach is fine. Then we are going to check the data redundancy. So whether this embedded document approach is going to create any duplicate records. Now it is not going to create any duplicate records because each customer is going to have a unique primary contact. No two customers will have the same primary contact detail, right? Each customer will have a unique phone and email address. No two customers will have the same phone number or same email address as the primary contact. So here we will not have data redundancy. So in that regard also, embedded document approach is fine. Then we have data growth frequency. How frequently the data for this primary contact is going to increase. Now if you see in this primary contact field, we are storing an object. We are not storing any array. So this primary contact is always going to store a single object. It is not going to store multiple primary contacts. Primary contact is going to be unique and it is going to be single for each customer. So here there is no data growth frequency. The document which we have assigned to this primary contact, it is always going to remain one. So it is not going to be multiple primary contacts. So in that way also, the embedded document approach is appropriate here. Then we are going to check closeness of relation. So this primary contact is closely related with the customer. Whenever you are going to fetch the customer detail, you might also want to fetch the primary contact of that customer. For example, let's say we are creating an e-commerce application. So in the e-commerce application, the user detail, the customer detail will be used only during the checkout. And during the checkout, we might also want to fetch the customer's primary contact. So whenever we are going to fetch the customer detail, with that customer detail, we would also want to fetch the primary contact of the customer. So here, primary contact is very closely related to customer. Whenever we will fetch the customer detail, with that, we are also going to fetch the primary contact. So in that regard also, the embedded document approach is fine because in that way, we will only have to query a single collection. Since the customer detail and his primary contact is present in the same document, we will have to query a single collection. Here, we will not have to query multiple collections. And finally, we also need to check how frequently the related data is going to be read and written. Remember that if the related data is going to be read or written quite frequently, then it's always a good practice to go with reference approach. Now here in this example, this primary contact, which is storing an embedded document, here this document is not going to be read independently. We are not going to read the primary contact of the customer independently. Whenever we are going to read the customer detail, with that only we are going to fetch the primary contact. We are not going to fetch the primary contact details independently. Also, once the primary contact is set, it will not be updated that frequently. So in that regard also, embedded document approach is best here. Always remember that whenever the related data is going to be read or written quite frequently, it's always a good practice to keep them in a separate collection. But here in this example, that is not the case. Primary contact is not going to be read independently. Whenever we are going to read the customer detail, with that only we are going to read the primary contact. We are not going to read it independently. So in that regard also, this embedded document approach is fine here. So for this example, for the relation between the customer and his primary contact, we can go with embedded document approach. Now let's take another example. So let's see an example where we should choose referencing. And for that, we are going to take the example of product and media. So as we learned, each product is going to have a unique media. In the media document, we are going to store the images and videos of a product. So each product is going to have a unique media. That means each product is going to have unique images and product videos. No two product will have the same product image or same product video. So between the product and media also we have one-to-one relationship. Now to implement this relationship, this one-to-one relationship between the product and the media, let's first again go with embedded document approach, and let's see what are the pros and cons of using embedded document approach for this relation. So here as you can see we have three product documents. In the product document we have name of the product, price of the product, brand of the product, and then we have this media field. And to this media field we have assigned an embedded document. Okay, and in the embedded document we have image of the product and product videos. So these are basically the lists. Now let's say each product is going to have 10 product images and maximum 2 product videos. Now here, if we go with embedded document approach for this media document like we are doing here, first of all, this document, this embedded document, its size can be quite big because in this document we are storing images and videos, and the size of the images and videos can be quite large. So it is possible that this embedded document can affect the overall size of this product document, because product document itself is going to have a lot of fields. Here we have only specified three fields: name, price and brand. But the product document can also have fields like product description, the model of the product, the color of the product, and many more fields. So the product document itself is going to have a lot of fields, so its size will already be big. And in the same product document we are also storing the media for that product, and the media document is also going to be quite large because here we are storing images and videos. So in that regard, the size can be a problem. The size of this embedded document can be a problem. If we talk about data redundancy, since each product is going to have a unique media, each product is going to have a unique product image and product video, data redundancy will not be there. Then the data growth frequency will also not be much. Once the product is created, its image files and video files are set. It is very rare that we are going to add any more images for that product or videos for that product. Okay, so here the data growth frequency is also very less. So for that, embedded document approach is okay. Then data closeness is also very high here. We are never going to independently fetch the media of a product. We are only going to fetch the media of a product whenever we are going to fetch the product details. We will never want to fetch only the product image and product videos. So the data closeness is also very high here. We are very rarely going to independently query this media document. So in that regard also, the embedded document approach is fine. And again, as I said, once the media is created for the product, once its images are uploaded and product videos are uploaded, we are very rarely going to change it. So here, the frequency of read and write of media document is also very less. So in that regard also, embedded document approach is fine. But the only problem here is the embedded document data size. This media document here, its size, since it is going to be large, it can affect the overall product document size. And that's why here, embedded document approach is not recommended. So in this case, we can use reference approach. In the reference approach, what we are going to do is we are going to have product collection in which we will have product documents like we have here, and we will also have media collection in which we are going to store the media documents like we have here. In the left hand side, we have product documents. In the right hand side, we have media documents. And here from the product document, we are going to reference the media document. So as you can see, each media document has this unique ID, and we are going to store this unique ID in the product document for this media field. So in this way, we are referencing the media document from the product document using its ID. And this is what referencing approach is. And in this approach, since we are storing the media documents in a separate collection, it will never affect the overall size of the product document. The only disadvantage here is whenever we are going to fetch the product details, and for that product, we also want to fetch the images of that product and product videos, we will have to query multiple collections. But that is okay in this scenario. At least it will not break our application. So here, referencing approach is the best approach to go with. So I hope with these two examples, now you understand when you should go with embedded document approach and when you should go with the referencing approach for one-to-one relationship between data entities. Now, always remember that whenever you have a one-to-one relationship between two data entities, then embedded document is the best approach to go with. In 90% of the cases, you can go with embedded document approach. However, in some cases, and these cases are very less, it will be less than 10%. In those cases, you might need to go with reference approach. But in most cases, whenever you have one-to-one relationship, you should always go with embedded document approach. So one-to-one relationship is the best candidate to go with embedded document approach. However, as I said, there are some cases where embedded document approach might break your application. So in that case, you should choose referencing approach. Otherwise, embedded document is best for one-to-one relationship. All right. So now let's go to Mongo Shell. And here I have one file called users.json. Let me open that. In here, I have an array, and in that array, I have a list of users, a list of customers, you can say. Okay, so total I have 10 customers here. Now, let me show you how each customer document looks like. So as you can see, each customer has this name field, this gender field, this date of birth field. Then each customer also has this primary contact field, which is assigned with an embedded document. And in this embedded document, we have email field and phone field. So each customer, each user is going to have a primary contact field, which is going to store his primary contact. And this primary contact is going to be unique for each customer. No two customer is going to have the same primary contact. And we also have the address field where we are storing the city and country of the customer. Now what I want is I want to insert these customer documents, these user documents in the users collection. So for that, let me go ahead and let me copy this array. Let's go to MongoJS file. There I have this db.users.insert many method, this command. In that command, I'm going to add that array. Okay. And now we are going to run this command and we are going to insert these documents, these user documents in the users collection. For that, first of all, let me go ahead and let me drop this e-shopping database first. So I'll say db.drop database. Okay, so the database is dropped now. Again, I'm going to create this e-shopping database. Why I have dropped the e-shopping database is there we had some collections and in those collections we had some documents. So I wanted to delete all those documents as well as the collections. Now I'm going to create this e-shopping database one more time. Okay, let me clear the shell here. And now in this, I'm going to add this users collection, and in that users collection, we are going to insert these user documents. Let me copy this. Let's paste it here. And if I press enter, it should insert all those documents in the users collection. So now let me clear the shell here and let's go ahead and let's query the users collection. For that, I'm going to use this find method on the users collection, and you can see all those user documents. Okay, so each user document has this name, gender, date of birth, and it also has this primary contact, which is storing an embedded document. And there we are storing the email and phone number of the user. And we also have this address array where we are storing the city and country of the user. And for each document, MongoDB has also added this underscore ID field with a unique object ID. Okay, so we are going to use this collection, this users collection in one of the coming lectures where I'm going to show you how you can query multiple collections in order to fetch related data. So we have created this users collection here, and in the coming lectures, we are going to create some more collections. But this is all I wanted to cover in this lecture. If you have any questions, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.